Oh, we got 3 people in here now. How's everybody doing tonight? Finally got this live thing, I think. I'm not very tech savvy, so we'll see how it goes. But Flintlock, how you doing? What conventions am I hoping to make? Ben, I'm going to the FTA here. I'm going on Thursday. Then I'll be at the NTA and the ITA, and then I'll be at the Nebraska State Convention here in September as well. Jay, I think you're talking about the technology. I think. Trapping Bros, what's up? Not a whole lot, Trapping Bros. I'm just sitting in the first shed. It's hot. I'm glad I ain't scraping anything out here because it's hot. Yeah, Jay, I might be 20 years old, but technology ain't my thing. So Flintlock, yes, I have. I actually, 4 people is who I know personally that have had beaver actually chewed through a fiberglass rod. So one of the guys I know who's a pretty good buddy of mine, and he called me pretty mad about it when it happened, but it happens. I've had several people tell me now that it can happen. Ben, no, I'm not doing any nuisance work. I really want to get my license, but I haven't got my license yet. Actually, trapping season, as far as private ground for nuisance coon goes, will be opening up here pretty soon in Iowa because they just changed the laws to where it's open season on coon on private land with dog proofs and cage traps only, if I'm right on that. I still got to read exactly what the laws are, but yeah, we'll be. I might be trapping some coon here before too long. I can't keep anything off of them or anything, but I got a lot of private ground I can trap and a lot of people that want coons gone. So might get after it here before too long and kill some summertime coon maybe. Trapping Bros, I wish I had AC in here. Well, what is it in here? 78, I think. It's pretty warm in here. Kenneth, what's up? Brad, how you doing? Just sitting out here in the first shed. I haven't been out here for a while. I've been working on 220 boxes here next door out by where all my freezers are, but in the actual first shed, I haven't been in here in a little bit, mainly because it's so hot in here. I got that walk-in freezer running right outside of here too. It's running still. It's got a bunch of carp in it that I've been catching. So that thing's heating up the shop as well. So it's pretty warm. But yeah, is anyone else going up to the fur takers here soon? I know I'll be going up there. I've never been there before. More of a business trip for me. I gotta buy a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff to get done this summer here before next trapping season. So I'm gonna try and get as much done as I can. Caught up on skinning and fleshing. Ben, I sold everything May 15th. I sold all my coon and beavers on May 15th. I still have my skunks. Haven't got to my skunks yet. I see Iowa Trappers ready in the comment section, so he's going to drop me off task here. But yeah, all I got left is my skunks and my beaver caster. I got that too. But can you unload all your furs from last year? Yeah, I sold everything except for my skunks. Like I just said, I sold everything. Iowa Trapper. All right, guys, I'm going to try and make a moderator here, so be patient with me. Hopefully I did it. Iowa Trapper, let me know if that worked. Trapper Bob, how you doing? I'm going to start sweating pretty bad here soon. It's warm. Oh, I think it worked. He's got a wrench by his name. Oh, it worked. Wow. You guys don't know this, but he actually sent me a Snapchat tutorial video on how to set up a moderator. That's how tech savvy I am. So, yeah, got it figured out now. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more mods in here probably just while I remember how to do that. Trapper Bob, doing all right. It was 91 degrees today or something. Way too hot for my liking. How hot? Iowa, it is. I just said I think it's 78 in here if I can read my thermostat right. It's warm in here. I don't want to be scraping any skunks anytime soon in here. That'd smell pretty nice. So plenty warm for me anyways. And to think that here soon I'm going to have to make about 1,000 pogos out here before season rolls around. So got a lot of work to do out here. How are the mink prices are bad for everyone. I mean, I was actually just listening to a thing a couple days ago. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm driving, trapping podcasts. And the problem with the mink is there's so many ranch mink just sitting around that aren't even selling. And the ones that do sell, they're selling for so low. It's just keeping the wild mink down and everything else. But the last time there was this much ranch mink stocked up, when it finally did all sell and go through, prices actually went up for a little bit. So I'm waiting on all these ranch mink to sell right now. But I mean, on my mink, I only sold 3 or 4. I think I got $5 or $6 for them. So, and they were nice big bucks too. So not the greatest. Stopped when the shop hit 83. Were you medium rare or medium well by then? Probably medium well, or maybe well done. Who knows? Working on equipment and permissions right now. Have a lot of plan for cats, otter, and some beaver. There you go. Cats are fun. I've only caught one that I could keep, but they're a cool animal to catch. I know I like just watching my house cats. They're not really house cats. They're kind of farm cats. But I like just watching them, how they act and move around and stuff. They're very interesting animals. They're very articulate about what they do. And it's just fascinates me. I wish I could trap them, but where I live, I can't even keep them. In some of the areas I trap, I can keep 1 all the way to 3. So it depends where I'm at, but for the most part, I can't keep any of them. Still pretty rare. Fat didn't even break down. Well, that's good, I think. Try a creek line like Iowa did. Ben, I shouldn't say big plans, because as far as water trappers in Iowa go, it's pretty small. But I do plan on doing a lot more water trapping this year. You guys saw a little bit of it last year with the chain drowners and stuff. I plan on doing a lot more of that this year. I had fun with it for the day that the water stayed open, and then you guys saw it got really cold and everything iced up. So it was a disaster. But I really want to get in the water. Probably the 2nd and 3rd week of season, basically between my first week line all the way up to my Thanksgiving line, I'll probably be running in the water if Mother Nature allows it. So should be a lot more water trapping on the channel this year, hopefully. Need to lose weight, Iowa Trapper. Start going for jogs, man. Go find some steep bridges and just climb up and down the banks for a couple hours. Probably get 100 ticks this time. Yeah. Coyote Stalker, how you doing? I'm too fat to jog. Well, do that. I just saw someone the other day in town doing it, like that aggressive speed walking where you really pump your arms. You could try some of that. Seeing when people do that, it's funny. First week, I'm hoping to take off school and run 3 or 4 different lines. Yeah, Ben. I'm not going to talk about my school habits. Most of you people know I'm still in college. This year I got very fortunate in I only have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So running a drowner line for me is going to work out really good because I can run every other day checks on them and not miss any class and go pretty hard on the days I don't have class. But normally I only miss a day or 2 of class. that first week. Other than that, I try not to miss because once it's trapping season, if I get behind, I'm going to stay behind on my schoolwork, and I just can't afford to do that. So I try and keep caught up. Raccoon population still high, I'm guessing. Oh, Bob, heck, I had one out here last night right by the shop eating our cat food. I got it within about 5 foot of it before it finally took off. But our coon population, I didn't put a dent in them. I can promise you that. I was actually talking to a guy the other day. The area that I run, so I took 1,500 coon off of this area by myself. And there used to be 5 or 6 different 500 coon a year guys that would roll through there. And they'd all catch that many in the same area, 5 different trappers, and they still didn't put a dent in them. So it just goes to show they just keep coming, guys. I mean, like I told some people the other day, you kill one coon in Iowa and 2 are coming in right behind it. There's just no real making a dent in them, it seems like. Jog to the fridge for another beer. That's a good idea, Ben. He might jog for that one. I don't know. No limits. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That'd be a fun, wherever you're from, that'd be a fun place to trap, because even here in Iowa, if we didn't have a limit on otters, I think we'd be just fine. There's a lot of otters around here too. But yeah, it'd be fun to trap with no limits on stuff like that. I'd trap the heck out of them. Cats are worth pretty good money so far anyways. I don't think anything's changed drastically on them yet, so they'd be fun to go after for sure. Kind of sets am I going to use, Don? Mostly pocket sets with a drowner. I'm going to try some fish sticks. I played with it a little last year, but I didn't actually have any fish stick, like the rebar actually made up. I just took a stick and put it in the and put a piece of fish. So it was terrible. I did catch a coon on it though, and I didn't show it on because I probably looked like a total buffoon for that set. But yeah, I plan on mostly running pockets, and there will be some fish sticks in there too, is the plans. Any mink goals? I'd really like to catch 10. Honestly, honestly, 10 mink would mean almost as much to me as breaking 1,000 coon in a season. I just think that'd be awesome. I know that might sound foolish to some people, but to me, the most mink I've ever caught in a year is 2, and I don't really try and catch them, so I think it'd be cool to catch 10 of them personally. This is where the cool Otter Cat. How you doing, man? It's been a minute since you've been on here harassing me. See if I can make another moderator here. Well, I'm on a roll tonight, guys. I feel like a tech wizard now. Missouri, yeah. Oh, the fridge is too far for Iowa. Really want to set beaver sets in the middle of creeks. Iowa, I think I told you a little bit about that because I was playing with it quite a little bit too, and I had great success with it on dead post, putting a stick in the middle of the creek. I was using dead sticks. If you had a green willow, I'm sure it'd do just as good, if not better. But it worked out good for me. I was actually setting the trap fairly deep, I would say, for the middle of the creek, and you walk away and you're like, I don't know how that's going to catch a beaver. But sure enough, almost every set, the next day you show up and there'll be at least one beaver you'll catch out of there before you move on. So it works good for me. Don't have limits on cats. I think 3 or 5 for otter in my part of Kansas. Yeah, Kansas cats are pretty cats too. They're a lot better than our cats for sure. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've been to Kansas, but I've never trapped or anything like that around there. You love pockets. Yeah, they're a killer set. I got a lot of work to do on them as far as trap placement goes, I think. Of course, you ask 10 different trappers, and you'll get 12 different answers on how you got to do it. But it's something I just need to try and figure out on my own. Appreciate your channel. Never trapped beaver. Caught 7 beaver and a river otter in 10 sets first night this year. That's a heck of a day. That's awesome, Travis. Judith and Dan, hello. Jinx, how you doing, buddy? Ben, do some deer hunting videos. My thing on deer hunting videos is this. So I video everything that I do trapping wise in the public right away. The public right away means anyone can go there, anyone can trap it. I'm just showing what they could be doing. But on the hunting side, I hunt all private ground. Most of it's owned by my family, and it's not that I don't want to share it. but that's kind of just, there's something about deer hunting to me that is just me and myself pursuing an animal. And I'm very serious about it. If you talk to anyone that knows me personally, I'm very serious about deer hunting, extremely serious. And I don't know if I'll lug a camera around for it. It might take away from what I appreciate so much out of it. I'm not sure. I might do it yet, but there might be an elk hunting video coming this fall. There's a little foreshadowing for you guys. Tracy, it's going good. Talked to Dale Billingsley. I think he likes doing that middle. That's who I got the idea from, Ben. Yeah, that's who I got the idea from, and I kind of played with it a little bit. I think I saw him do a demo where he showed something like that, maybe, or maybe it was in a video he did or something that I watched, but I know I saw him do it, and that's kind of where I got it from. I think I gave him credit for it too in the video that I showed you guys that set. I bet I know someone on here that don't have mink goals. Ottercat, I don't even need to say. I know who you're talking about, and he probably knows too. Should have used my moderator license to block Otter before you made him a Hey, man, missed opportunities, I suppose. Cats aren't nothing special. We do have the occasional good cat. 4 up close and only 1 good. Huh, yeah. I guess it depends on what part of Kansas you're in, really, too, I suppose. It's a pretty long state. Too late. Am I picking you up on my way to Jefferson? Jinx, I'm going up there Thursday. I don't know when you're going, but I'm just going to make a day trip out of it. I'm going to go up there, basically get everything done that I need to get done. I got to buy a lot of stuff. It's going to hurt the wallet a little bit, and I'm going to get it back here and start working on all the stuff I need to fix or change or make new for next year. So it's kind of more like a shopping trip for me. I'm not staying up there very long. I'll be up there all day buying what I need, and then I'll get out of there. But yeah, what day are you going, Jinx? For sure. I'm curious. Did you tag your turkeys this year? Brad, I killed 1. I always do 2nd and 4th because I like to space them out because, in my opinion, on a normal year anyways, you're going to have the birds are in 2 totally different mindsets between 2nd and 4th season. So I like to hunt 2nd and 4th. And I didn't get a 2nd season one mainly because the first day I went out, had a great sit, just didn't have any birds really come in. And I like to chase them with a fan a lot too. Just never had any luck there 2nd season on the first day. And then it just rained and rained and rained and never got to go out again. And then I went back to school. So I filled my 4th season tag though. The first day of 4th season, I killed a nice 2-year-old bird. In those moments where it's just you and the environment. Absolutely, Iowa. There's something about deer hunt. Me and deer hunting are very serious, and it wouldn't come off right to the camera because people would see how upset I get or something like that, and people would think, "Oh man, what in the world?" But I'm just so passionate about it and spending that time out there just with the deer. It's me and the deer and my bow. It depends, but that's what matters to me when I'm deer hunting, and I love the aspect of it. I run as many cameras as I can, mineral sites in the summer. Got food plots. Actually, we just loaded the planter because all our bean food plots didn't do very well. So still working on stuff for deer hunting right now, but I take it extremely serious, and I don't know if I want to film it or not. I don't know how many people I want knowing what deer I got running around. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate it. What do you do with your carcasses after you skin them? I'm new to trapping and stuck with what to do. Jordan, all my coon carcasses, if you're talking about coon, once I skin the animal, I gut the coons, I put them in a bag and put them in my walk-in freezer. I sell all my coon meat, most of it. The market tends to dry up after Christmas time, so you got to be kind of careful with that. It's pretty hard to get rid of carcasses after Christmas, but I sell them all. And at least for me, I more than cover my gas bill just by selling the meat. So it's a very good market to get into, especially if you're trapping anywhere really before Christmas. You can really move that coon meat usually before Christmas, and it'll cover some of your expenses for sure. Do you waterfowl hunt? Ben, I don't. I dove hunt, which ain't waterfowl, but I do dove hunt. Last year, our group killed 120 doves on the opening morning. And trying to get Iowa up here to dove hunt, but he just doesn't want to limit out on doves. So I don't know what to do about that. But doves are about the only bird I shoot other than a turkey. Thursday, coming back Saturday. Holler at me. I think we're camping there. Okay, Jinx. Yeah, I'm sure I'll run into you up there eventually. I don't know how big of a deal it is. I've never been there, but only one way to find out. We'll head up there and see what's going on. I got a couple different people I need to talk to, and hopefully I get to meet a lot of you guys that are subscribed to my channel and kind of chat it up. Hey, Ty, how you doing tonight? Oh, Iowa thinks that I'm going to waterfowl hunt. You better come dove hunting if you think I'm going waterfowl hunting. And I ain't going waterfowl hunting in October unless I fill my tag. I don't get him out there for teal. You'd be hooked on it for life, man. Ben, I promise you, I ain't gonna forget about the deer. The last 4 years, I messed up my leg. I tore my ACL, so I didn't get to hunt the 1 year. I actually had a deer with my bow at 52 yards. My dad ended up killing it because I had to get surgery the day he killed it, and he ended up harvesting that deer, and it was a 184. But the last 4 years, minus the one in there where I had my leg all bummed up, I killed a 174, 177, and a 165. So I take it pretty serious. I get after it. I'm the deer management guy. I'm the nerd about deer hunting. So there's no way I'll get out of that. Let's see, where in the world was I at here? All right, you mentioned you're in school. What's your intention? Seem very smart. Troy, I appreciate it. I promise you I'm not that smart. I mean, I kill raccoons for a living, basically. So that should say something. But I'm going to school for business management. My plan is to own my own taxidermy shop when I'm done. I feel like that'd be a perfect fit as far as what I'm passionate about. I mean, I already know most of the process. I just got to tan the pelts and put them on a form. And I know there's more to that, and I know what it is too. I won't go too in depth on it because I'm sure some of you guys that care about it know, but that's kind of my goal, to have my own taxidermy. Teal's about as good as dove hunt, sometimes better. Ben, in Iowa, I don't know. I know it's really hard because we've been so dry, and if there's a water hole with ducks on it, there's going to be 15 people there anymore, and it's just, unless we get a wet year, it's pretty hard. And to be honest, I don't like being around a whole lot of people shooting guns. I kind of like being on private ground away from other people. So at least in Iowa, it'd be pretty tough to kill a large quantity of ducks anymore anyways. It used to not be that way. Yeah, for sure. I know we're lucky in the fact that we can sell our meat for sure because it helps the old wallet quite a bit. Hobbies Hobo, greetings from Canada. My brother and dad actually just got back from Canada here a couple weeks ago. They went up there bear hunting. They both got nice black bears up in Manitoba. So, and I've been up there before too. I shot a bear up there back when I was a kid too. It's pretty country up there for sure. You ever want to get into fox/coyote? Nicholas, I wouldn't say I was big into coyote trapping, but I took it pretty serious when they were $40. I think a couple of years ago when that coyote market was pretty good, I averaged like 30, $35 for my coyotes or something. And I went out and caught 20 of them, which to some people that's great. To some people that's absolutely nothing. There's guys that catch 500 or 600 coyotes, no problem. I've been into it, and to be quite honest with you, I do not have the patience for it. As far as coyotes goes, unless they're worth $35, $40, I really don't see myself getting into it anymore. I don't have the patience for it. Do you have your buck back from this year, Ben? I do. Yeah. It was that one. I think I did a YouTube short about it actually with the kickers. That one was a 165. I killed him the opening day of bow season there. I actually he came in and was fighting a little buck at 13 yards. I actually that's the first time I've ever waited for a deer to get further away from me to shoot it. So that was pretty cool. Got a 152 with my bow, first bow deer. That's an awesome first bow deer. Had run in with a 180-ish, but buddy spooked him. Oh yeah, Ben. Actually, here's a little heartbreaker story for you. Kind of similar to that. I had a buck coming into this year, straight 6x6, typical 12, probably 160 class, I'd say. 4.5-year-old deer. Gave him the green light. He can go wherever he wants to all year because I knew he'd be a giant this year. And the neighbors found him dead, tangled up in their goat fence. So that was a heartbreaker for me. That deer would have been a hammer next year. Doubt you'll get Iowa to go dove hunting. That's a sport for peasants. I'm not sure what you mean, Otter Cat. I like to dove hunt. More deer for me. It's all about small game and traditional archery. Has been for 30 years. Yeah, I feel that. I'm all about whatever you're passionate about, you know? I mean, find something that drives you to go outdoors, really. I mean, there's nothing better than being outside. I'll tell you that right now. Unless it's like it was today and 90 degrees. Then I'd prefer to stay inside. Only difference is I have electricity. Come to Kansas this year and I can get you on a teal private lake. Really, Ben? I'd be interested, but I got so much stuff going on around here. I can't really go anywhere. I'm going to Colorado here this weekend after the convention to get ready for elk hunting out there. So pretty busy. New trapper started December 28th through the end of April. 53 beaver and 8 otter. That's fantastic. 53 beaver, your first time beaver trapping. That is great. My first year beaver trapping, I think I caught like 20. So you whooped me by a long shot. That's a heck of a first year, man. That's awesome. What day am I going to be in Jefferson? I'll be there Thursday, all day. A little bit of a drive up there, but I hope to be up there around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be there all day. So if you're there, feel free to yell at me or something. You might have to yell pretty loud. My hearing isn't that good, but I promise if you're there, I'll talk to you. No problem. Shout out here Wednesday at 7 Central. Trapping Bros and myself will be doing a live on their channel. I should probably say this a little louder. Wednesday at 7, Trapping Bros and Iowa Trapper are going live on Trapping Bros channel. They're great young guys. I always try and get on their lives as well. It's great to see anyone passionate for the outdoors, really, especially some kids as young as them. You know, I'm only 20 years old. I'm not exactly sure how old they are, but I was in their shoes not too long ago. And look what I turned into. So nothing better than kids being outdoors. I can promise you that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Iowa, 53 beaver and 8 otter in your first season. That's insane. That's a great year. Going to prep for elk already. Yeah, Ben, I'm going out there. We got a ranch out there, and we gotta go put up some tree stands. I don't know how much tree stand hunting we'll be doing, but we're gonna hang some tree stands for sure over some water holes and stuff, and put out some cameras out there too. See what we got on the ranch. What's your shopping list for Jefferson? I got it right here. If you really want to know, too much stuff. All of this stuff. You see a lot of thousands on there, but that's just small stuff, I promise. Hopefully my mom's not watching this or she might kill me later. First year this last season only. Oh, don't say only 13, Ben. 13 beaver for your first year is still a heck of a year, man. That's awesome. Make sure a couple people, you know. Yeah, I know. You're going to get me in trouble if I expose the whole shopping list here. Taking your mannequins. Otter Cat. I'd probably kill like a 300 plus bull if I did, to be honest with you. They might be good luck. Then you'd eat your words. You never know. They could be lucky mannequins for all you know. One trap on a beaver and caught him a mile later. Ben, yeah, you got lucky on that one. Was it this year? Pretty sure it was this year. I know in a creek that I lost a beaver in there last year, and I had a tow, and I caught a beaver in there this year, and I'm the only one who traps that creek. and I caught a beaver in there this year that was missing one toe. So kind of similar, but it sounds like you got your trap back too, hopefully. So that's pretty cool. Iowa, you did not have to do that, man. Expressed is $10 worth me getting in trouble for? Long story short, one of the biggest things on there that I'm worried about is a bunch of cable. I'm not sure what the prices of cable are right now, but I know they aren't getting any cheaper. Then, the typical. I'm getting a bunch of. Here's another thing too, which I'm going to do a video about this, but I'm going to put swivels and possibly double swivel all my 220s this year on my 220 boxes. Main reason being, I had one coon last year that broke that stock ring off my 220 box. I actually got away with the 220. No idea where he went because I searched long and hard for that thing. But after cutting all those rings off with I actually used my cable cutters and having half of them break before I even cut through it. That bothered me enough to where I'm going to replace all of them. So I'm going to be doing that for sure. So I got a bunch of swivels on here, a bunch of ferrules, obviously for the pogos and stuff. Some J hooks. I kind of just always need J hooks around. They're good for everything. And stretchers. I want some more. You guys can see. I got kind of my older stretchers. I made a bunch of these myself. But then I got my top lot stretchers, and I really love those top lot stretchers. So I'm gonna try and buy some more stretchers for next year too. I think it'll speed me up a lot too because I'll be able to get almost 2 full weekends in without having to take fur off boards, which if you have 200 coon on boards, it takes a while to take them all off board. So if I can get 2 good weeks of fleshing in a row, I think that'll really speed me up on that part too. So I got more stretchers, a bunch more 220s because I got a bunch of 220 boxes that I made. So I need a bunch more 220s. Some more dog priffs. It depends on the price, honestly. I don't really need more, but if I can find a deal, I'll buy some. And a bunch more fur hangers because I only have about 80 fur hangers, and I put 10 on each hanger. So I'm going to need a little more for next year, hopefully. All my 2As and 330s are swiveled. Yeah, AutoCAT, exactly. That's why I'm double swiveling probably all my 220s or almost all. They're for sure getting a swivel on the end for sure because I cut all those rings off my 220s already because the welds are just breaking on them as I was cutting them off. That to me as a coon trapper is concerning. You get a big bore on there. I mean, those 220s will put them down quick, but they also get a free run down a creek bank with it once they get that 220 snapped on their head because when I'm running boxes, I'm mostly on high bank trails, so they get to take it for a tumble down the creek bank a lot of times. And that one busted my trap off and got away with it. So gotta eliminate that for next year. I hate losing fur for sure. Move all the rings before I ever use them. Put them. Yep, exactly. Judith and Dan. 130 for 1,000-foot of cable at the snare shop. Oh man, what size of cable was it, Don? I'm curious. I know I'm looking for. What is it? 330 seconds, 7x7. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I already got like 1,500 foot sitting here, but I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. Son and I process and eat all our beaver. Hard to tell the difference between it and beef. I've heard beaver's really good. Have you ever ate your beaver? I haven't, and Troy, I'll tell you why. Because most of the beaver I catch are dead when I show up, and they've most likely been dead for at least 24 hours. And with the amount of farming and stuff that goes on in our area, I don't even want to know what's in the water that they've been soaking in dead. So if I caught a live one, I'd probably try it. But as far as a majority of my beaver, I wouldn't eat them. They've been soaking in those creeks, and they're full of who knows what kind of chemicals. So I won't eat them if they're dead for sure. So much fun. I noticed your TS-85s, you set them so fast. Thomas, the trick, set a lot of them for sure. I know it took me a little bit. I'll tell you the one thing that helps you get them to where you can set them pretty quick is just usage. Setting them and resetting them. They wear out a little bit, but not I mean, they're stout when you first get them out of the box. They're a stout trap. Another trick for me is fleshing over 1,000 coon this year. My shoulders got pretty ripped there by the time I was beaver trapping, so I could just push those traps right down and set them. But if you can't set them by hand, they make setters for them too. So there's no reason to bust your back over trying to set them when they make tools for it too. But only reason I can set them fast is because I set so many of them. 60 spring beaver this year, 5 pound average each, good amount of meat. I think it's when they twist. Yeah, it is for sure. Because I'm sure you've done this, Iowa, but you ever take that chain? It doesn't take much twisting, and it kinks up to where they could probably bust that off of there. So I'm going to eliminate that. That's one of the things for next year I'm definitely improving on. Old rings were welded good. New rings. Yeah, exactly. They are spot welded too. You're absolutely right. And they're just, it's junk welds too. I mean, I could almost break them by my hand. Some of them I probably could. It's not good for sure. 330 seconds, $130? That seems pretty high. Really high. It sounds more like a 2,000 foot roll price to me, maybe. I haven't looked at cable in a while. Yeah, Funky's is $75. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. That seemed a little steep. Put cable on all my body grips years ago. I like it way better than chain. Yeah, I can see. Do you have any swivels on? Oh, I think you said you had swivels on them. Sure. Need to try setting a Beaver Extreme by hand fast. Judith and Dan, I've tried setting them. Now, new ones and a Beaver Extreme that have been used, from what I've been told and personal experience, which I don't have any, but I've set a few, is night and day difference. When you get them right out of the box, I've heard they're extremely stout traps. Almost too stout is what a lot of people have told me. They're pretty hard to set by hand, but I'm sure I could figure it out. I'm young enough and dumb enough. Give me a couple of years. I could figure them out. Tried this beaver this last year. It was really good. I don't doubt it. Everyone tells me beaver's really good. There's a fusing deluxe Canadian traps. Holy smokes. Yeah, I lost 6 TS85s this spring due to theft. And those are about $28 a piece, 28 or $30 a piece. It's $45 a piece. That hurts. You should try to make the Kansas convention in October. Ben, I don't think I can. I'll either be bow hunting or pre-staking. That's what my entire October consists of, really. I'm either bow hunting or I'll be pre-staking. There's nothing else I really do other than get traps ready to rip. Stings, they honored an expired gift certificate. Huh. That really surprised me. A lot of good things about the snare shop. I don't know. That's interesting for sure. Iowa, you do need to start getting your stuff ready. You need to start going through all those dog proofs you got sitting there. But at least they're indoors, right? I think you told me that. At least they're inside. How are you putting a swivel on the inner? Swivel on the spring, loop on the other. Okay, yeah. Why do you think pre-staking is illegal? Ben, I don't know. I know there's a lot of controversy about pre-staking because there's some people, which I don't want to make anyone mad, but there's some people that think that pre-staking is reserving spots, which I don't view it that way. I view it as I'm going to put my trap there and leave it there until season, and then I'll come set it. If someone else comes through there and wants to set a trap, put a trap right next to mine. Just don't make it to where your critter can get into my trap, because then there can be some issues. But I invite competition. I shouldn't say I invite it, but I have no problem with it at all. Now I rarely run into it on dry land anyways, but I think there's just a lot of that people think it's reserving a spot, and I don't personally look at it that way. I know there's some people that do, and they really hate pre-staking. But fact of the matter is it's legal here, and I'm going to do it, and it makes me a lot faster on the opening day of season. Without pre-staking, it'd be impossible to. I don't know how many traps you could get. I know I've staked and set 200 traps in one day before. And on opening day last year, I had everything pre-staked, and I got 370 or 380 traps set that day. So it almost doubles the amount that you're able to get done on set day. It's great. Iowa has some of the best trapping laws as far as pre-staking, dryland 220s, and everything like that. As far as coon trapping goes, Iowa's got it figured out pretty good. Like snare shot, but they're switching to more outfitting and hunting than trapping. Yeah. Do the adjustable loop on the stake end, like 330 Maniacs. I got that on my 330s flintlock. I actually made something like that the other day, so I could run a T-bar through a piece of cable that I had and stake my boat up to the bank for carp fishing for bait. Oh boy, here we go. What'd I do now? How do you get your pogos out? Jeff, I use I got it out there. It's a stake puller, basically 3.5, 4 foot square tubing. It's got, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches of L-beam on the bottom welded to it. And it basically makes it to where you can leverage that up, and it's got a little hook on it. And you basically just hoist it out of the ground. Works pretty slick. Trapping ditches. Why do I think trapping ditches are illegal in some states? Another controversy. Dogs, mainly. Amount of eyes in road ditches. I think there's a lot of states too, though, and we're very blessed in Iowa to have such, on most occasions, not all, most occasions, we have a pretty good shoulder to where you can safely pull over and traffic can still pass you pretty easily. I think there's a lot of states. I know I hear from some Missouri guys that that's not the case and that there's no shoulders down there to pull off onto. But I think it's more just eyes in the ditch, or someone did something wrong 20 years ago and the wrong people got a hold of it and took it all the way to make it a law to get rid of it, or there's something to it for sure. Proud of their merchandise. Great people. Snare shop. You can dryland 220. Love the boxes. Judith and Dan, I love the boxes too. I got a couple hundred of them that I just made sitting out here. All I got to do is put mesh on the back of them and they'll be ready to rip. Jinx, for sure. There are some weird laws, without a doubt. Oh man, there's some interesting ones. That's for sure. You're just behind in the chat. Oh geez, here we go. Pre-staking controversy. Iowa, you know about it a lot more than I do too. There's a lot of people who are not a fan of pre-staking the way that me and you kind of do. Drilled a hole in the edge of the washer. Added a wire they pull out. Yeah. Whatever works for you. I mean, that kind of sums up trapping in general. Whatever works best for you, do that. There's no one right way to do anything as far as trapping goes. It's one of the most adaptable things to make your own. Like me and Iowa, I would say most people would say we're very similar, but if you rode with both of us, we probably trap almost completely different. Equipment might be the same, but just the way we might run an area or something like that, just the little things. I bet we both have our own things that are completely different. Same with any other of the bigger guys in Iowa, or even the smaller ones. Numbers does not accurately represent skill level in the trapping industry by any means at all. There's a lot more factors into it than that for sure. And there's a lot of people that do it differently, and it works great for them. Keep doing it. What about check laws? Why so long or so often? Ben, again, I really wish we had 48-hour check laws on 220s. But that being said, I've pulled quite a few live possums out of 220s. So I think it all just depends on what situations have come up in the past in certain areas that have led to things being changed. It's all about efficiency, not taking a location. You know how it goes. You're doing great. Competition and being efficient. And it's just competition is you almost with competition, you usually want to be the second guy to get there because you can see, okay, here's what they did. Now I can go here. You almost want to be the second one to go through. I know that sounds weird, but you can basically cut them off, and it works out pretty good. So I don't deal with much competition really, which I'm very thankful for because I expand my area very much so every single year, and I'm just shocked at all this area that's just not getting trapped. It blows my mind, really. I'm grateful for it. Roll through there and know that it's going to be fresh ground, and I basically know about it's going to pick up based on how many locations I got on it. But there's not that many guys out coon trapping. Wow, not that many guys out coon trapping anymore. Think about attaching all my beaver traps to drown runs with those quick connect snaps. Footlock, I got a couple. It depends which one you're talking about because I've tried them, and if they're the ones with the little where you screw them, they work great the first year, but then after that, you'll have to use a pair of pliers to get them open. Which, if you're fine with that, then by all means use them. I showed in my video the other day. I just switched to J hooks, and I stack my traps a little differently than I used to, and it works just fine for me. So whatever works best for you, by all means, do that. Tired of opening and closing J hooks every time I want to connect a trap. Yeah, Flintlock, I get that. That's why I personally stack my beaver traps the way I do. I'm not sure what kind of trap you're talking about as far as using them. If it is beaver traps and you haven't watched my beaver trap video or my beaver drowner setup video, whatever you want to call it, feel free to check that one out. I just posted it a couple days ago. But if you lay those traps on the side of the rod, it doesn't make a big mess at all, and you can pull your traps right off at a time, and it works great. And there's no opening or closing J hooks. You close them on there once, and they're good. Unless a beaver opens them up, then you got to close them up again or replace them. See you later, Jenks. Thanks for stopping in, man. Thanks, Iowa Trapper. I appreciate it. This is kind of I wouldn't say it's out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I just miss trapping so much and wanted to talk trapping with all you guys. So I figured I'd get on here and sweat it out in the first shed. Wax your quick links. So work for years. Really, Ottercat? Learn something new every day. Ottercat's always teaching me new stuff. That's interesting, though, for sure. I'll have to try that. Dunlap Lure Sheet Traps. How you doing tonight? Thanks for stopping in. Coyote Stalker, I won't get too into where I'm from in Iowa, but I'm kind of central part of Iowa. I'm not a southern Iowa guy by any means. I keep my location pretty disclosed because I have no competition. I kind of like to keep it that way. Yeah, guys, it's going to be season here before too long. I know hopefully it cools off before season. Last year it was pretty warm when we got rolling there. Pre-staking, heck, that first day pre-staking, I was bring them all in. It was so dry and it was about 80 degrees outside. I was sweating real bad. Flintlock, it might be all new ground this year for beaver trapping, if you want me to be honest. I think I think I put a hurting on the beaver pretty bad this year in a couple of the areas that I hit. And I don't think they'll come back quite like the coon will. I think they're going to take a year or two. So there's definitely some areas I'm not going to go to this year that I trapped last year. Um, I don't want to run them out of there. I'm just going to let them be for a year. I'll come back again the next year and I'll trap them out of there again and kind of run that cycle. So a lot of the beaver trapping I do this year will be on stuff I've never trapped before, which to me is fun. I love trapping new ground. It's one of my favorite things to do is learn new areas. So it's going to be a fun beaver season next year for sure. It'll be interesting to see on all that ground that I hit, how I'm going to adapt for this coming year and kind of how it produces. Because some of the stuff I know it's got more beaver to it yet, but some of the stuff I'm not going to trap this year. We understand your love of trapping. Yeah, I do love trapping just a little bit. I'll give you that. Figured you weren't very far south based off cat talk. Yeah, no. I kind of wish I was for the cat stuff, but I can't keep cats. We have quite a few cats. I actually shot a buck a couple years ago and came back to the house, got my dad, and we went and got my deer. And by the time we got back down to my deer, a bobcat had actually started tearing at the rump on that deer. And we knew it was a bobcat because it covered it back up with a bunch of leaves, trying to hide my deer. This was only about, I say we got back to that deer 30 to 45 minutes after I harvested that deer. And there'd already been a bobcat on it. So that was pretty cool. But we got a lot of them around. If I could keep some where my house is, I'd get after them for sure. How much do you think raccoons will be this year? Nick, if you're talking price wise, no clue. If all those ranch mink would get out of just sitting around, I'd say go trap some coon this year. I did fair on my coon. I won't get too into numbers because it sounds kind of cliche, but I really don't care what the money is. As long as I'm covering my expenses, which I'm more than doing that, then it's all worth it to me. There's nothing I'd rather be doing than going out and trapping every day. But I made some money this year for sure on coon. Pretty fair average, especially considered to last year. I had a pretty good year this year. And all I've heard for next year is consistent with this year to maybe a tad better. I don't think it's going to skyrocket by any means, but we're going to have to wait and see. But just remember, no one saw beaver getting up to about 18 to 20 bucks a pound finished either. So you really never know. What do you do with your caster? Thomas, I still have all my caster right now, actually. I'm thinking about I might try and make a lure of my own just to kind of play with it. I got a couple certain situations where I'd like to kind of have something. I don't know. I need more stuff to tinker around with anyways, but I might try and make a little bit just for myself. But other than that, I sell all of it, whether it's green or dry, depending on who wants it, whether it's a lure maker or people buying it for perfume or whatever they use it for. Normally I'd sell it dry if it was a good year, but caster is just so low. I haven't sold any of it yet. I still got it all in the freezer. I got 34 or 35 pounds of it in the freezer right now, I think. I wish it was 80 bucks a pound. I can tell you that for sure. It'd be pretty nice. But yeah, I'm excited for this year. Does anyone have any goals for this year already? I mean, I know trapping's not all about numbers by any means, but as far as whether it's just becoming a better trapper or anything like that, do you have any real goals for this season? I released mine when was that? A week ago, a little over a week ago, maybe now. I don't remember. But I released mine. And first and foremost, it's to become a better and more efficient trapper. So hobbies, hobo, yeah, possums are possums, man. You'll get some that are pretty fired up. You might get one that'll hiss at you or something throughout the day, and it'll. I really they won't do anything to you for the most part unless there's something really wrong with them. I'm really working on trying to get a possum market for this year just because I hate releasing them so much. But I'm not going to kill something if I'm not going to use it. And for last season, possums were that case. I had nothing for them. So I was just letting them go unless they were 220. 13 and a half pounds to put make lure with. That'll make a lot of lure. 8 pounds, still have a lot left in the freezer. Yeah, yep. 300 skunks. Holy mackerel. That's a gold mine in essence right there if you get the right guy. Skunks are fun though. I just sent one over. I sent a bunch of stuff. Well, I shouldn't say I sent. I drove it over there. But I took all my cool furs over to Sleepy Creek. When was that? About a month ago now. And one of my skunks made it over there. If you guys remember, kind of earlier in the year, I caught that one that was basically all white on the back, and then the belly was kind of all white with black spots on it. He's getting tan. That'll be my first skunk on the wall, so that'll be pretty cool. And I still got some skunks I got to mess with yet too. I haven't sold them yet, so we'll see. Trapper Bob, I'm curious how you trap your skunks. I know some bigger skunk number guys use boxes to catch them, but I don't know how you do it. How do you do it? Harvest and sell the skulls. Seems to be a good market for that there. Yep. Hobbies and Hobo. I do sell all my skulls as long as they don't have bullet holes in them. Which another thing, which I talked about earlier, I'm going to really try and run quite a bit more in the water this year, specifically for that skull market, actually, because I have a pretty good market for it, and it'll cover some gas money for sure. So yeah, I sell all my skulls off of everything, whether it's coon, beaver skulls were hard to move this year. I actually didn't sell beaver skulls this year. Mink, otter, muskrat. Possum skulls are still a decent market for. Skunk skulls are my best market. Can almost never keep up with the demand for skunk skulls. They're a pretty neat little skull too, but they're worth some pretty good money. $160s. Okay. Yeah. Do you like those 160 boxes? I mean, I know you have great success with them on skunks, but I've had some people tell me I need to try, and that's a tiny little trap for our big old coon over here. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of different things about it. I'm really curious now. I like to catch a big old badger. Oh yeah, Flintlock. Badgers are fun, especially if you catch a live one. they're balls of fire for sure. I've had a couple of them that I've caught, and buddies of mine have caught, and I'll skin them out. Which you don't have to do this by any means, but I'll skin them out and get them tanned with the claws on. And they look really cool on the wall with the claws on. There's also guys that make like a little miniature bear rugs out of them too, which I think look pretty cool. Badger. Another thing new for this year is I made a whole bunch of these. I talked about this year spring beaver, about my little carrier that I had for carrying beavers out of the creek. So I made some more of these, a little, whatever you want to call it. I just chopped this. I don't know, it's 8 or 10 inches. But little loops here to carry coon out too. So I can carry 2 coon in each arm when I'm water trapping. I'll use this for beaver too. But I made, how many did I make? 6 or 7 of them. I'm sure I'll lose a couple of them, but that's a tool I'd highly recommend if you're doing water trapping or anything. It'll save your hands a lot carrying stuff out of the creeks. A friend of mine used to do well selling teeth on a necklace. Huh. What kind of, as far as species goes, what kind of teeth were they? Caught hundreds of raccoon in 160 boxes. 160 is a good skunk trap also. Huh. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about 160s being in a box. I've heard that they'll actually, as far as a head catch goes, get a better head catch on most coon if you know how to set them just right, which I'm sure you do if you catch that many skunks. Good grief. But I've heard that there's actually more of a lethal trap if you can get the coon to stick their head in it. I just feel like, I don't know, because I've heard guys will catch some really big coon in those things, and I just have to do it to but honestly, it's just one of those things. Coyotes and wolves, yeah. Tell you what, a wolf would be fun for sure. Coyotes, I know there's a couple different markets for coyotes. The fur is really rough on them, at least from our area right now. Really rough. But wolves would be fun for sure. I always like showing people pictures of coyotes and wolves next to each other. There's one on Google. I don't remember what I look up for it, but it has a big wolf next to a coyote. And people are always shocked by that. They always think wolves are so small. I'm like, no, they are ginormous, way bigger than a coyote. I don't think a lot of people really believe how big they are, which I've never seen a wolf. I'd love to, even though they're devastating in a lot of areas as far as taking out wildlife. I know northern Wisconsin's got a lot of problems with wolves right now. As far as other places in the country, that's the last thing we need in Iowa is wolves for sure. We used to have them, I think, but they don't have them anymore, thankfully. But yeah, guys, we got a lot of work to do this off season for sure. I actually ended up when I was running late season there, all my dog proofs. I ended up actually cutting those pogos because the ground was frozen. Um, so I need to make a whole bunch more, like probably 1,000 pogos, just for this year. And it's gonna take me a while. It's gonna be some long nights out here making pogos for sure. Yeah, Patrick, I bet. I bet. I think it'd be a cool thing to see. Even cooler thing to pursue. I've heard that they cover ginormous amounts of area. Bob Noonan wrote an article in the Trapper magazine about using 120 boxes for big Maine raccoons. Wow. Even smaller. I don't even own a 120. That's interesting for sure. So again in the month, keep in touch with us. Good stuff. Thanks, Hobbies Hobo. Wow, sorry about that. Will do. I'd like to do some more lives here. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying this live. I know I am. I've been dying to talk trapping here the last little while, so feels good to talk some trapping for sure. See, do I have anything else cool I can show you guys in here? I was gonna bring a blonde coon I caught my first year trapping out here, and I forgot to do it. Hmm. I'll tell you what, guys, for you coyote trapping guys, though, my number one set for when I did trap coyotes, which it's all dirty now, the pipe set. I loved using that. I'd put some beaver caster down in there. That's how I trapped them. It worked pretty good. Oh, thanks, Hobbies and Hobo. Hobbies Hobo. Wow, I keep messing up your name. I'm so sorry about that. I need to get I need to get some trap dye too, some more Formula One for this year, for sure. Thank you, Michael. You too. Hair stood up. The back of my neck, honestly scared. I bet, Patrick. If you don't mind me asking, how many were in the pack? If you got to see how many, I know they vary in pack size a lot, but I've heard they'll cover. I don't want to throw any numbers out there, but like I said earlier, just huge, huge areas of land. I can't even imagine had you tried how you would try and trap one. Probably you'd have to get them while they're going through. You're going to be waiting a while, that's for sure. From what I've heard, anyways. I do know one guy that caught one in Wisconsin when they opened it up just for a little bit, but then they shut it right back down again. So I do know one guy personally that's caught one, I guess. How many dog proofs do I have? Oh, I think I'm around 400 right now. I'd like to get a little bit more. And here's why. My main thing for having so many is the first week of season. Really, I like to run about 300 dog proofs and 80 to 92 20s. That's what I did last year on opening day. Not enough, of course. It's never. And my plan for this year is to buy some more dog proofs so I can have my entire first week route pre-staked, and I can have my entire Thanksgiving route pre-staked, and have all my water route pre-staked to where I do not have to stake a trap into the ground until after November's over. That's my goal. I think I can really hammer the coon, weather permitting. I think I can really hammer them if I can get all that stuff pre-staked. I think it'll make a drastic difference between that and just I need to spend more time trapping this year. I took a couple breaks last year, which I wasn't trapping. The water froze up and it was just kind of a mess. So hopefully the weather's a little better this year. We need to get some more rain for the water trapping to work out as good as I want it to, but we'll see what happens. Probably find people selling them more than you used to. Yeah, yes and no, actually. There's some people selling dog proofs. I don't know a whole lot of them. There was just some online I was trying to buy, but the guy never called me. So I don't know what happened to them, but I am looking for a few more. A black wolf in northern Wisconsin a few years back sent post set with coyote urine. Had to let him go. Oh man, so it was in a coyote set too, wasn't it? I think. Were you coyote trapping? I'm assuming. What kind of trap was it in? Yeah, Iowa trapper, exactly. There seems to be quite a few guys trying to move some coyote traps, though. If you want me to be honest, I tend to see more coyote traps for sale than I do coon traps, and I don't know if that's because it's just new guys that get into it and get frustrated and want to get back out, or which I really hope that's not the case. Um, but I think it's probably got something to do with that. And dog crews are going to catch coon. If you semi know what you're doing and you put it where coon are walking, it's going to catch coon. Um, it's not like coyote trap. Coyote trapping it takes some patience, some time, and some skill for sure. So I don't know if it's from new guys getting into it or what, but I'm pretty sure I normally see more coyote traps for sale than anything else. MB 650. Yeah, that's not very big for a wolf. 100 dog proofs I haven't used in probably 7 years. Yeah. Are they Dukes? I'm curious. I'm not asking you to sell them to me. I'm just curious what kind they are. Was Harry Flintlock for sure. Bottom of the coyote fur market has dropped as coat companies no longer buying fresh coyote fur. Yeah, Patrick. What's it called? Canada Goose. When they got out of buying fur, that just tanked the coyote market, which sucked because you had your coon guys, you had your coyote guys, and both could make a little bit of money. It was all hunky dory. But now that they're out of it, the coyote market just fell right through the floor. Don't tell them that. They'll think you don't have skill. LOL. I don't have much skill. I just go way too hard. Coon are hard to catch in Iowa. Yeah. Depends where you're at. If you were up in northwest Iowa, I tell you what, I don't know how guys catch coon up there. I would have no idea where to go unless there was like a barn or something. It's so open up there. I was just up there a couple of weeks ago driving, and it was about an hour's worth of a drive through this stuff that I couldn't tell you the first place to catch a coon up there. So I guess in some spots it'd be really tricky. Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, there's probably a pretty decent coyote in Nevada too. That's out west quite a ways. Let me get my waders. Yeah, yeah. Iowa. I wouldn't know where to start up there. That's for sure. Coyotes, you could probably. I mean, I'd lose my patience on them, but I mean, it'd make more sense to be a coyote trapper up there, in my opinion. It seems more like coyote country to me. But there's guys that catch coon up there. Pretty open stuff. Yeah, but another thing too, which I actually told me this, them guys up there will actually catch coon out of the field tiles. And you guys saw this year, was it opening day or the second or third? It was that first week. In that first week, there was kind of an open spot with a cut bean field on one side of the road and a few trees, and there was a big tile in the ditch, and there was a cut cornfield on the other side. No real trees big enough for a den. And I put a dog proof next to that field tile on a hunch, and I caught 2 coon out of there and a couple possums. That was a mile and a half from the river bottom that I was trapping along. So I can't prove for sure that they were living in there, but I caught them right next to it in the middle of nowhere. So who knows? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure they do live in there in some places, but I almost wonder if some of them kind of check in there for food or something too. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it attracts them or if they're actually living in there, at least in the area I was in. They could have been living in there, but it just wasn't very big of a tube. And I caught a couple. The 2 coon I caught was like a 4 and 3X coon. I don't know how they'd get themselves in there, but I've seen them get in some crazy places before, so it wouldn't surprise me. What's the spot with the adult demon? No, it wasn't Flintlock. I actually took one of my buddies trapping with me opening day. He rode along with me, a buddy of mine from high school. We've been best friends for a long time. And I took him with me, and that was the only stop all day. I told him, I was like, hey, you go down there and check, see if there's anything down there. Sure enough, there was 2 coon down there. And he looked a little closer and he came up and he was like, do you know about these video things down there in the ditch? I'm like, yeah, that's why I sent you down there. So we got a good laugh out of that for sure. Is it Ty? Yeah, I tell you what, those guys that trap out in that open stuff, I wouldn't want to do it. As far as trapping goes, for sure. I know that in some places like he's on beaver and stuff, which would be awesome if we had that here, but we don't. Uh-oh, Ottercat's thinking. Oh, very lucky to trap in areas like we really are Iowa Trapper. And there's so much of the state that's just like you can just keep driving and find more area and more area. You'll run out eventually, but for the most part, there's a lot of ground out there, a lot more than people realize. I think there's a lot of roads. We're very blessed to have as many gravel roads as we do in Iowa. I know some states they don't even hardly have gravel. I think like when I was in Wisconsin, I don't even know if they have gravel roads, which is just weird. They might have some, but I could have sworn a guy up there told me that it was all like asphalt or something. It's kind of weird, but they didn't really have many gravel roads. Yeah, Flintlock, that would be tough. I have a lot of respect, the utmost respect for people who just trap private ground. That'd be tough. I'm about to find out here in a little bit when I start trapping some nuisance coons around our place here. But private ground's tough. We got a couple creeks that flow through here, so I'll be all right as far as trapping the coons. But private ground would be tough. It'd be tough for sure. Trappers have not hurt the population. 40 in 2 weeks behind the garage. 2 cage traps. Lots of doubles. Neighborhood tree squeezers. Think raccoons are cute and feed. Yeah. A lot of people think raccoons are cute until one of their pets or something goes missing. And a lot of people don't realize that raccoons, I'm not going to say it on here, but we all know what they'll do to an animal. So they're nothing to be friendly with, for sure. That's a lot of coon, though. 40 in 2 weeks right behind your garage. Tar and peat gravel roads. Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. It is a lot of equipment, a lot of location. It really is, Iowa. It's all about how far do you want to go and how late are you willing to stay up at night skinning it. I know for me, there's a couple days at least where there's basically no sleep. It's all caffeine and go, which isn't healthy. I don't recommend that to anyone. But It really is how it is in Iowa. You have to be willing to push yourself. Um, I hate to say it, but there will be times where you're kind of just like, ugh, a little bit. As far as like just scouting so much ground all the time. But in the end, it's always worth it. Me personally, I love scouting new ground. I love trapping new ground even more than my normal stuff usually, just because it's something new every day. You learn something new every day. Every year you go through there, you add a couple more trails, Um, I'm always surprised at the amount of trails I'll pick up every year on stuff that I've been trapping, and I'll pick up a trail or two every year in certain areas that I never saw before. And I'm sure they were there last year too. And I didn't see them. That's just crazy. You can think you know an area well enough, and sure enough, you don't know it as well as you thought you did, because there's always another trail. I've never trapped off the interstate. I don't think you legally can in Iowa, if I remember right. You can trap off the highways, but it's something about the interstate you can't trap off of them because the dairy industry. Yeah, that could be too. Unless it's Forest Service BLM lands, most of the roads here in Sierra. Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, federal property. That's what it is. It's not owned by the state, something like that. So you can't trap it because all the road ditches on gravel roads or highways or paved roads or whatever is all state ground, but the interstate ain't. Folks feeding squirrels, trapping squirrels, 110s. I've caught some squirrels in my two more than I care to share, but you can't you can't sell anything off of them either because they're not a. Iowa told me this. They're not a fur bearing animal, so legally you can't sell anything off of them either. So, and you probably missed a coon that walked through there more than likely. Hustles and hobbies, I don't yet. I really want to get into the ADC work. Um, I just haven't yet. I really want to. I think it'll be a good little source of side money for me. I just haven't got to it yet. How many critters make it a worthwhile trail? Hustle and hobbies, I couldn't tell you how many trails I have. Probably don't ever catch anything all year. There are some of the best looking trails that you'll drive by and you'll catch one or two coon at, and you'll be shocked. That's just how it works. Some of it has to do with whether there's water there or not, and the coon might make it look a little better than it actually is. Um, but some of the best spots don't produce that good, and some of the worst looking spots produce a lot of coon. So you just never know. I set every trail I can find. I set a lot of deer trails with dog proofs too. Timber to timber deer trails. I catch a lot of coon going on timber to timber deer trails. Check your text. Uh-oh. Okay. I see it. Ask me to be tech savvy again. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to make a couple more moderators here. I think. Hopefully this works. Stick with me here, guys. Hold on. Sorry, not very tech savvy. All right. Surprised you and Iowa don't catch more squirrels in your raccoon trails. I used to catch that. Yeah, Flintlock. I just got done saying, I do catch some, for sure. We can't sell them, but do catch some for sure. I catch quite a few bunnies too in 220s, but most of the time there's not much left of the bunnies. Most of the time something will find them before I get there. Seems like. Brock, I get it. Trapping's hard on everything. Um, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hopefully you can take them out though, and maybe just do a little bit or whatever you want to do. I mean, it's totally up to you. Um, but I totally get it's hard on the vehicles and wallet too. I had to get new tires this year because I wore my tires down so bad. So that didn't feel good on the old billfold for sure. And the gas bill, With the gas prices we got now, the gas bill is not cheap either. So I get that 100%. Charge premium price for all. Exactly, Hobbies and Hobo. There's a lot of people, from what I hear, there's a lot of people who think that animal damage control works just free and that you're going to come and just remove this animal. And it's not how it works. You got to be paid for what you're doing for sure. Especially a bit of time or if it's quite a drive for you. Yeah. What I really want to know is how many ditch tigers. I guess I don't know what that is. 350 in Illinois. Yeah. It's a little less than that here, I guess. Well, during trapping season, it was probably close to that, I think, if I remember right. It was a long season, but I know gas wasn't cheap. $35 a mole. Yep. Oh, house cats. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about those on here. I'll get thrown into YouTube jail. I will. You're absolutely right too. I laugh at it, but you're absolutely right. Personally, I'd like to see about $2 a gallon gas. Be pretty nice. But the old timers always said the higher the gas price, the higher the fur price. That did not turn out well. As far as coon, I guess for beaver it did. For beavers it did. So I guess the old saying was true on beavers, but not much else. Yeah, to change things like gas. Yeah. I'm actually probably next year, I'm probably going to have my own gas tank at my house, maybe like 100-gallon or something at my house, just to save gas from driving to town to get gas. When I'm at home, I'll just have a tank at home, fill up in the morning. It'll save me time too, so I can get done running traps earlier and get to skinning too. So that might be something I change here over the next couple of years as well. But yeah, guys, I suppose it's getting pretty late for me. I know Iowa Trapper's going to give me a bunch of BS about getting off of here at 10:10, but we're probably going to wrap this up here soon, guys. I had fun for sure. New American Woodsman, Which Matthews. I just bought the Phase 4 actually, and I love it. I got it in the camo. Is it Realtree? I think it's a Realtree pattern. The Phase 4, newest one they got so far. It's an awesome bow. Absolutely love it. If you don't mind, walk us through your plan strategy for this coming season. What numbers? Oh boy, here we go. All right, so if I'm going to break down really, I'll end it after this, guys, but this is something I really do need to share. It's kind of a breakdown. So basically how it's going to go is the first week, I'm going to try and catch anywhere from 500 to 600. I think I can be close to that 600 mark by the end of the first week, hopefully. 500 for sure. And then I'm going to be going into, my goal is to have my entire first week route done on Friday so I can set my entire water route Saturday and Sunday, which my water route's hopefully going to be about 250 traps on drowners. And then I'll check those every other day because I only have class every other day. So my goal is 500 to 600 the first week. Then I'm going to try and catch 600 to 800 in the water, 400-ish on my Thanksgiving break. And then I got a month off on Christmas break, which last year I caught about 550 coon on Christmas break. So hopefully we can do about that or maybe a little more on Christmas break and get me to that 2,000 mark because that's the goal. Those tiny Japanese trucks for $5,000. I don't think they'd hold up for a day of me driving them on the trap line. Not one bit. Wow, I just answered your question. I'm sorry. But that's kind of how I break it down. And to put up numbers, you really kind of have to, I'd almost say it's kind of like waypoints. There's a better way to describe it. It's kind of like a checklist to where you know you're either behind and you need to crank it up, or you're sitting just right, or maybe you've overcaught a bunch, so maybe rest a little bit more. Rest is not a thing that I'm too fond of when it's trapping season. Right now, I like to sleep. It's pretty nice when it's too hot outside to want to go do anything, but got to break it down and really kind of just, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to go catch 2,000 coon like I want to do, and then I'll figure it out when season gets here. It's taken a lot more than that, which I've never even been close to that. I was very blessed to catch as many as I caught last year. But I think there's still a lot of stuff I could have improved on from last year. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't even trap last year that I know of. So we'll see if I can get to all of it this year. Cardboard floor on nope. Hustles and hobbies. There's nothing on my floor. It's an absolute disaster in here. I need to actually clean it in here, but cardboard on my floor wouldn't last 3 or 4 hours probably. I used to do it when I wasn't very big into trapping, but it just wouldn't last at all on my floor. Thank you, Hobbies and Hobo. You can trap them year round. Brock, I'm not going to, just because the Iowa fur season, generally speaking, for the state is lined up pretty good. Your 3X coon are looking pretty good by the time season opens up. That being said, my 2X coon from that first week are getting sold to a different market. I'm not selling them to the fur market because they're just not prime yet. And to me, there's no reason to trap any earlier for fur than what I was ready to go. And with that, yes, we have open season on raccoons, but that's not an open fur bearer season. So you can't harvest the fur off of them or anything like that until actual fur bearer season opens. So there's that. I'm going to trap some coons this summer for sure, and I'll probably film it for you guys too. That way I'll be able to explain a little bit more what I'm actually doing instead of going 1,000 miles an hour down the road, trying to throw as many coon as I can in the truck. I'll actually be able to explain some stuff. But yeah, we can't keep anything until actual fur bearer season opens that first weekend of November. Benchmarks. Good word. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Anybody can, you can get it. I'm going to try, man. We need to get some more rain. That's for sure. I think you guys have been getting a little more rain down there than we have even. It's pretty dry up here. Very impressed by your scouting. Yeah, like I said, I think it was on your live. I want 200 miles more of roads, because when it comes down to it, I'll push myself as hard as I physically can and then some. That's not an issue. I have the equipment that I need for the most part. It just comes down to having the ground to go to if you run out of stuff to go to. And that's something that I'm always scared about, running out of ground. So I always try and have plenty of ground. Like I said, I never even beaver trapped all the stuff that I had planned out. So I always like to have somewhere to go. And I got a lot of time in the summer to drive. To bring you Hollywood scene, has he pushed you to the side? Otter Cat, I'm going to say he probably pushed me to the side, man. He's going to get mad at that. So dry in my house, all my grass is dead. Ours is too. Up at our house here, our grass is pretty dead for the most part as well. Only as strong as your weakest of the three. Ground improvement, yep. Ground equipment and drive, absolutely right. Cut my grass in almost 2 weeks. Well, it's probably been about that here too, Flintlock, for sure. Patrick, I don't know if I have a lot of energy by means, but I do love to trap. I'm not one that's really energetic or anything. But when I'm trapping, there's no better way for me to spend my day than trapping all day. I can go out and catch absolutely nothing. If I'm trapping, it's still a good day. That's just how I work. Same thing with deer hunting too. It doesn't really matter. As long as I'm outdoors, it matters to me. But anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. It's hot out here, and I'm going to go take a shower. So thank you guys all for stopping in. It was a fun time for sure. Hope to do more of these soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, until next time. Thank you.